Welcome to Facility 5, where sound and magic collide. Let frequencies decide your esoteric ride.
Welcome.
Welcome, welcome,
Welcome.
Welcome to another world.
Hello. Hey. Hello. Milo was first. He was streaming all day. Busy playing guitar. Not sure if he's there, but he was first. Tigrill was second. And Cloudface was third. And me fourth because I was still busy. I had to install my new cable. It's still not there where it should be, but provisoire. And I had to eat something. I had to work a bit late. So, yeah, new series. Kinda. Place this a bit. We are going to explore, instead of a whole brand, I'm trying to explore one plugin. At least we're gonna try. And today, Acid. I had to spend 100 on some new earphones. Ooh, ouch. My cable was just 15 euros. I did buy some plugins yesterday. I had to. Yeah, I managed to try something. It's very basic yet. Work on the sequence here. Let's. Sound is working. And just before Black Friday. Ooh. Ouch. So, there's no modulation yet. I wanted to try something basic in the mind of Plastic Man. Let's see if we can pull this off. It's a shame that you have to buy an entire new headset and not just to replace the cable. Yeah, there are some brands. Mine has a fixed one too. It's rather cheap, AKG, but there's Milo. But those are often a bit more expensive. No, the Audio Technica is replaceable. Yeah, that might be. Even more. I had, because there is these Ukrainian brand who makes headphones. I know John from the Reaper blog has one of that company. It's not cheap, but I think they have a removable cable too. So, and I think Focal and other brands has pretty much always. But if you're on a budget, yeah. And I do have two. But the one I'm using actually is the K240. It's plugged in my Palmer Monicon L. It's fixed. I don't really move it. I don't remove it, so cable is. But sometimes it happens. I have some so that it's not too long, because I do tend to sometimes either step over it or rip it with my foot, but it's always risky. So, cables. So we got effects. There is a delay on, but it's very... I don't hear it much. Ah! I thought it wasn't on, but... Just by adding the effects is, yeah, nice. I do have another headphone at work, because at work the audio system is pretty bad. So I had to get me another one, and now I have three. I'm still planning on someday add another one. Maybe a biodynamic or something like that. The focals are nice, but way too expensive. And I had, let me just check her name. She does also videos for Thomann, Andrea. It's a bit complicated. Andrea Cicecki, or something like that. She posted a picture of her setup and studio, and I asked the question, because she has some nice white-looking speakers on her setup, and I said, and they didn't look like something I knew. So I asked the question, what kind of speakers are they? And she responded, and I said, it's the Yamaha HW8, but the white ones. And I said, oh, that's really nice, because I'm looking for new ones. And she's quite happy with them, but she apparently plans on her to-get list some new ones. And I was, ooh, oh my. Uh-huh. I just have to check mode loop. You can draw? No, apparently not. There's no, I don't see a pencil here. Uh-huh. You take them outside with my... Yeah, that's why I do get a few in case of... Normally I don't mix or listen to music on headphones. I just use them for streaming, so... There's no real snapping here. They do snap, but I don't see... Because even that is something different. So actually the LFO for an Arturia plugin is pretty basic. Normally they have more option like that, but you can't duplicate them. So control is fine tuning. No. Copy. That's the... Could actually make... Which monitoring speed do you... nothing fancy. That's my first monitors I did get. It's from Elise's. They're not bad. They're not... They're a bit small. They're still powerful. I have them for quite a while. I think 3 years since I got them. I think 3 years around, and pretty decent sound for... They weren't expensive. I did get the pair at Thomann, I think, but they do have even headphones output and a bass boost, but pretty basic, but still sounding good. So double click. So double click resets them. And if I double click here, one click, okay. Double click, oops. There's no snapping here. Why is that? Bipolar 1, okay. Viral Beats, the man with the new crazy synthesizer that I watched this morning while me drinking coffee. at the office. Let's see. If I just do a sign. That looks like, haha, Andy! Andy's joining us. Andy, I don't have any pork pie. Andy wants pork pie. So I could actually save it. So, no. I'm pretty good at naming. Type. Studio. Acid. Delay. Let's make Detroit. Yep, no pork pie. I clearly remember when I was at London with my mom. We did go to a library. She wanted to see a library. I don't know, and was actually a modern library. And suddenly she, I'm hungry. On the way back to the hotel, and I said, there's not much. It's because the library was a bit more outside of the normal touristic path in London. But there was a pub, and I said, we could eat there. And I think it wasn't a pork pie, but it was a pie thing. And she didn't like it. I had to eat it myself. she would go, ooh, with some brown. There was meat in it. I think it was beef, but she wasn't a big fan of the pie itself. But I had no problem with it. I would even I eat everything, almost everything. So we got ourselves a nice preset. I did make a note. So you can actually do it by note, or you can sets the play mode to sequencer or ARP. But you can click to save I'm not sure if I actually can. Can you modulate? I don't think so. Sounds pretty good. Not keen. Yeah, if you're not used to British food, so I clearly remember the first time I was in London. I was like 17, 18, something like that, with my best friend then, and we didn't eat actually a lot of British food. Back then, I actually had my first kebab. There was a takeout, and the guy who was making those kebab, they were enormous. Once you ate one of these enormous kebabs, your stuff was symptoms of reality. I stopped for a little bit, not feeling too well. Oh, that's the back. So symptoms of reality has backache. I have my. It's getting better, but my foot is still a bit ouchy. Yeah, backache. It's not good. Pub food in London can be very average, normally straight out of the freezer into the microwave. Yeah, probably. I can't say in those pubs I did eat, it wasn't really quite well. The only time I ate really well, that was with my friend back then. That was the third or fourth time I was in London, and we had our hotel quite outside. It was the West End, something not far from the big Earl's Court, in that region of London, and there was on a crossing on a corner, there was a big restaurant. I think it was Moroccan. It was Arabian. That's Moroccan, Algerian, something like that. It was quite huge. There was a lot of people actually. We were dressed as tourists, of course, but they did get us. We did get in, but the food was amazing, absolutely amazing. If now I would go back and search for the restaurant, would be a bit difficult. But that was actually pretty nice. So you can actually click and drag, export the MIDI. Let's try that. I want to get rid of I might keep the notes, and just to see how steps 816, I did have swing. Let's drag it out. So we got this, okay, and then I don't need the sequence anymore normally. It should work. And that actually works. So you could actually do it like that and duplicate it. Well, maybe a new one, but oops. So that's a method to do. It's a bit uncontrollable. It would get actually a bit boring. So not gonna. There's no stream from Symptom. I didn't check much YouTube today. Just viral. I had a discussion with Milo still. Viral Beats uploaded something new. There's still a live stream. I might join that one. So, maybe not. Maybe just leave the sequencer on, and then what is polymetric allows for a different length for each row. Okay. So let's add MIDI note, and then I'm going to let's do it like that. And I had my Pharyngean. Let's make it like that. And if I duplicate this one, I could actually. How's that would sound, actually? Milo is busy. Me too. Definitely need to put my nice white Adam Hall 4-star microphone cable nice, and I probably have to get back under my desk to to do some cable rearranging. I'm trying to find out. I might let's just check. I have to beat oops, port, beat port. Site is pretty. Yes, cookies. So, Plastic Man. I just want to find out on his first album what the actual BPM is. So you got 95, 126, 72, 84 is also faster one. Most are fast, but interesting. Yeah, missing streams is you can't watch them all. I try to. Sometimes I get lucky and I catch some at work. Sometimes muted, and then sometimes I listen with the headphones. Depends on if there's much happening or not. Mostly there is nothing much happening at work at all, but we had some visitors today, so So if you do it instead, let's do it 128, like real techno stuff. I don't like the second one. Maybe change it. I think I'll just leave it there. Oops, I did go too far. So now I have to find out what these things. Hey, no worries at all. Miss you, of course. But if you can't make it, so yeah. The good thing on YouTube, actually, because on Twitch, the live streams ain't saved for a very long time. So that platform is more, yeah, I'm watching every stream, or I missed one, shit. On YouTube, you can, they're all saved, except if you do some limitations on them. I put mine recently. I had started to add them on playlists, so if someone is actually interested, you can rewatch it. Some actually do check the chat out. If I rewatch a stream, I'm mostly not really interested in the chat itself, because you might sometimes it's useful, sometimes it's not. Depends on what kind of stream it is. If you have a stream where there's some kind of explanations going on or stuff like that, but YouTube, you can actually, if you want to, just check the channel. And I know that, for example, the only downside is if you do it like -glitch, he unlists the streams, so you have to get on his Discord to get the links he posted when he's doing his Monday live streams, and because they're not listed officially on his YouTube channel. That's a choice to make. Why? I don't know. Does it impact the channel? I don't know. But so I wanted to try with the reset. Defines the number of bars over which all tracks realigned to step 1. I'm just gonna try it. So if I do 1, I'm not sure if he resets the whole sequence or what he's doing. Maybe that's just testing on a forward playback. If I do 2, I'm not sure how this works, but So how many steps can you actually do? 64, okay. That's interesting. If I swing, no. How does this sequences compare to... it's kind of the same, because I know that Arturia makes some stuff in their plugins is a bit copied over to another, because you got the like in Pigments, you got where you can actually change the sequence length of each note, and this is the polymetric stuff. If you do that, you can change it here. So if you like, just for example, this one is just 4, and the next one is like 8, and the next one is like this. Let's just check. So you can actually, I'm not sure with this. No, not here. And do some randomness maybe here. Maybe not too much. You can actually... And even add some... Interesting. So the polymetric is actually for the slide accent and vibrato. So it's not actually... so you got a lot more steps for a start, I guess. Not used Acid V for now, it will be as good. I wouldn't say as good, because the Acid V is just 303 emulation. So if you want a good synthesizer to start out with Arturia, get Pigments, because Pigments can do everything. Instead of the Acid V is a 303. So you got, 303 sounds, and that's it. You got this pretty basic 303. There's not much about the 303. I know that D16 added a bit more than, I think the Arturia is a bit more basic. You have the modulation, but if you want more basic, you get the original plugin version from Roland. That one is exactly like the hardware. So there's not much fancy stuff going on. It still costs the same price as the Arturia one, and you have to have Roland Cloud too, but you can buy the plugin. I tested it, and it's quite boring actually. There's really not much to like about it. Yeah, if you like the original sound, but Arturia made it a bit more interesting with kind of modulation and stuff and effects, and with some tiny tweaks, and the D16 is even more advanced. And all the rest, you can find 100,000 303 emulations, but you can, when you get the Pigments, and if you do know how, you could do an acid sequence in Pigments with some, there might be some presets even for acid sounds in Pigments, but Pigments is advanced, very advanced, and you can, with the sequencer in Pigments, you can send out, I'm not sure if that is actually possible. Maybe if you do like, You could test it, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work. If you just do another, just to test it if it's actually working, but I doubt it. Some synthesizer. Something maybe simple. Just to test, let's use the this thing. If you do bass, and if I do send MIDI, to this one. It actually works. How about that? I wouldn't say that this actually this sequencer sends out MIDI. How about that? We found something out. You have to make another track and send MIDI out to that. Yeah. It works. It does sound a bit quirky though. It says bass 303, but maybe if I do, I don't know much about oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There's something interesting here. Maybe that one works, but so if you do both, yeah, it's, yeah. Hive also has a great built-in sequence, and you can modulate the sequencer settings. Yeah, that's, sometimes you have to, and that's why I'm planning about, instead of I in the last all the streams, I always try to make a track. I know that if you like a wizard like Dash Glitch, or I don't know, a really versatile musician, that might be working. But because on the last stream I had an idea in mind, but the idea didn't really work out, so I was thinking maybe change something and go even. I did say it many times, and I'm still going back to trying to make a track, but now I want to explore even further, and then maybe just chat around with people. That's why we're actually streaming. Otherwise, I could just fiddle around with myself alone in my dark room. Actually, when you're mentioning dark room, I forgot to activate the second light. Just I had forgotten the second light. Oops. I'm tangling myself. You would watch that. Yeah, actually, that was my basic idea. And then also with the plugin series, the Plugin Acquisition Syndrome. Because now I'm actually in my... I did make a lot of folders in Reaper, like a bit like the browser in Bitwig or many other, because I know that FL Studio is a bit tweaky to make your own folders and stuff. It's very odd. And in Reaper, you just make your own folders. You name the folders, and I had made a whole series with A's and B's and numbers and types of instruments and effects, and I'm still sorting stuff out. And now we're exploring what the hell to do. Eddie! Now we're exploring a deep dive into, because my synthesizer folder is quite full, and I think I used like maybe 1 or 2% of that folder actually. I did get so many, and there are some that are like I could actually take them out, because I did put the augmented series in that folder, but I did make no, did I? I did make let's, you know what, let's make a new one. Like Arturia, and I make augmented series, and then I'm going to put that one a bit higher up, because I did already make a folder for the effects collection and the V collection, but now I'm going to put at least the augmented series into that folder. And then I'm going to take these out of here, and I'm just going to check Arturia. And I think I have. I'm going to just put them back to be sure. Shit. I did put the VST. Not the VST3. Go back again. Arturia. Where? There was an update on the installer, but there wasn't actually no update on any. They still haven't released any new effects. They actually put out 2 synthesizers since the release of the V collection. That's not very much. So I'm still waiting on V collection 11. So let's see, augmented. And now I got the augmented. Yeah, inverted popes. Hello. Arturia's worst thing we have our fingers. Yes, they do. But it depends. You could actually have almost the same synthesizer sounds if you got like the sample tank or the synthesizer collection from iKey Multimedia. It's almost the same with a tiny itsy bitsy differences, and maybe how to install and work in. But I think it's one of the biggest collection, because you got the core collection. It's more just Korgs, and what else is there actually? There isn't quite another, not that I think of, with that amount of emulations in one package. Because even you've got the GeForce that's mostly Oberheims and some quirky stuff, and I recently found out that the M-Ton is just a Mellotron, and I thought myself, Mellotron, I must hear it before I would actually buy that one, because there has and then UVI, and UVI has a lot of very special ones, like old Italian synthesizers, a lot of Yamaha and some Korg emulations, and they don't have a 303. They have some Juno emulation, I think, but it's totally different than others. Contact, don't think so. Christmas is coming, there will definitely be something from... I know normally, when you mention it, there might be a sale coming. I think because Arturia's sale is mostly on season changes, like spring, summer, and I think they did make for autumn, and then you got the Christmas sale, and the V collection normally, they might change, who knows. They mostly come in spring. So let's wait and see. There hasn't been anything moving on the FX collection. Don't think they're gonna add actually much to that, but wait and see. Because the synthesizers, you got two since the release, 2 or 3. I think I did get one after the V collection. I'm not sure. So yeah. So my test did work, but it does sound rather awful. Maybe if you find another sound, I don't know. You can get this one for free if you search for it, but maybe if you do an effect, who knows? That's a funny one. Oh my goodness. No, not that. The kick wouldn't work. Oh my god. What the? No. Trans annoyance. No, that's the horrible sound of the 90s. No. Swamp Thing. Interesting. But, yeah. I don't know. Very quick one. There is choice out there. But, like, you get the... I did put them... Let's see. Because now in the V collection, you can get them separately, the 6 augmented series, but they are included in the V collection. I could actually rename my folder, actually. Edit folder V collection 10. Okay. So now we got V collection 10. Yeah. I might get rid of the small thing there. Like this. And I did make folders for Melda. We didn't really explore Melda a lot, but that will come. Sooner than later. Or later than sooner. So what else you can't modulate the gate here because let's see. It actually works. So if I'm on the sequencer, you can drag modulation. and if I do modulation 3, maybe something random. The only thing, the downside is the random isn't random at all. So you can actually put the gate on here and add it more. That's still pretty fast. A bit tweaky. Well, that works. Haha. Aura's Volt, it's free. Yesterday I tested a new VST from Venus. The auras, yeah. And it's a whole series, I think. Let me just on his on his, I did save the page because it's let me check just on the Gumroad. If you go into the auras free instruments for all, yeah, there are two. So you got the Volts and the Polyscape. So you got two for free. I did not yet grab them. If I grab them, I will get them a bit of cash. I did get some other free stuff from his decent samplers things. I did even make a list. I didn't actually get the more expensive one, like the cinematic strings. I might get all in time. I will get them. So I know Viral Beats did make a video on the new Venus theory. Actually, Venus theory. He published a new video yesterday, and I actually did send it on Odo's Discord, and there was quite a discussion about AI. So he has, I know Odo has a bit of different point of view, because Venus theory explained the implications of using AI. It's quite scary what he tested, like trying with AI to make a similar sound and track like his, and then copyright himself, a copyright claim on his own AI creation stuff. That was quite spooky, and in some points you think, how, yeah, I do know that even I did see a few videos popping up on Adam Steele's channel just before he stopped doing anything, because now he's doing his work for Audience, and the YouTube channel is on hiatus. Well, he did publish a few AI songs, and it can, yeah, play around with it, can be fun, but also we do know the implication of using it and publishing it, and or stealing others' ideas. because certain sites you get, you can load a sample of a song, and we do know that it's probably something they stole from someone, and then they put it in. Give me a result. I'll be myself safe. Yeah. But even Venus Siri explained, even if you do make all things yourself, you still might get a risk that these days someone actually either steals it, and that has always been a possibility in the internet anyway, but with AI it's even easier to actually, because when even not just with AI, because when the whole thing started out with in mostly hip-hop scene, make a trap beat and suddenly you had YouTube full of videos with tracks resembling tracks like someone else, and suddenly AI came in play, and then they make a beat like this and that, and they added the vocals sounding like the actual artist where they stole it from. Well, that gets risky. And some actually tried to publish the songs as the artist. So that's getting... Ooh, and we do know how humans work. Some might struggle making the perfect song, but AI is easier. I could just write the prompt, make me a song like Led Zeppelin, sounding like Black Sabbath, or like Drake, or like Ice-T, or like, I don't know, Electric Light Orchestra, and bang. I have nothing to do with hip-hop anyway, I was lucky. Yeah, but the funny thing is, hey VP, the funny thing is with hip-hop was always based on some kind of stealing from the beginning. The DJs used records for the block parties. The records weren't produced by them. They used some, most of them, like electro beats and electronic stuff and funk and R&B records, and they mixed, and then came, of course, Kraftwerk in play, a nice rhythmic pattern. They're mixing it, they're rapping on it. You got the mic, you got and then the drums, and it's stealing. They didn't care. They had their block party, was DJs, and slowly developed, and then came the samplers. They tried to sample obscure jazz records or funk records. But AI ain't that much different. So you just put in a prompt. You say, I want to sound like, I don't know, Lady Gaga. It's, imitating. But soon you will be able to have an AI holographic that's happening, writing and performing an album. And yeah, exactly. Someone actually, I did read about some, I think it was about a country singer where he's dead, and the family actually gave some company the rights to use his voice to make new tracks. So that's getting but yeah, maybe they will own the rights. I don't know how it's gonna work there, but it's a very obscure dark zone with AI sampling. But these days you got people publishing stuff on YouTube, and then they got copyright strikes from some obscure company on a beat or a rhythm, or imagine getting a copyright strike on a hi-hat sound, or while you're using, I don't know, a loop cloud sample. Why I do try to manipulating them so much that you really would need AI to find the content ID or something like that. But we know how that goes. I might get a short break and let yourself rest and get a coffee, tea, beer, or something like that. Or maybe something stronger. You know, industry isn't called industry. Yeah, that's an industry. They create products. Yes. 3 quarts for 100 chart hits. Yeah, the industry, it's like every industry, it's an industry. It's made to make money. It's not for free and for everybody to use it for free. It's an industry. That's why it's called music industry. Products. When you're an artist, once you start to be kind of promoted by someone, you're a product. Being a musician, a sculptor, a painter, a poet, a writer, or a street artist. Once you get some kind of promotion, someone, I get you a record deal, your product, and someone wants to make money out of you. You will maybe get a portion out of it. Sometimes a big portion, sometimes a very small. And these days, with all so many things involved, there was a time when some artists did get a big portion, and all the franchise sales and T-shirts and stuff and concerts. But now with the streaming industry, it changed all back. Oh, you want money? Do more streams, do more work. The rest is for us. Music industry. I'll be right back. I'm back. Let's see what he's saying.
Your Honor, I rest my case.
I rest my case. But yeah, music industry is like any... If you choose to be an artist and make a living out of it, that ain't always... You get the stories like... I'm reading the book from Phil Collins, who... his grandfather was he was in the insurance industry. His father was in insurance, though he didn't like it. But his father thought, my son will work in the insurance company. But he had other plans. He wanted to be an artist. He wanted to be a drummer. But when you look at his career, it took him about 20 years to actually, now I can say I'm earning something. Because when he started out, they had contracts, like in the beginning it was a very small amount, and slowly the success is building. The tours get a bit bigger with Genesis. The money, even not large amounts, and he even wrote because he was just a drummer, so he did get for the concert and the tours. He did get when they're playing a fixed amount, like many bands did and still do, but he didn't get any royalties because he wasn't a writer until the late 70s and then 80s, when he started doing his own stuff and even including his own stuff in Genesis, and slowly the success is building. Then he said, now I'm earning. But most, they don't get that lucky. Some even sometimes write a song and that they earn nothing. Or the contract is shitty. Like even with, I read the story about the Beatles. The Beatles, when they started out, they had nothing. There were small bands playing concerts in Liverpool with very small amount of money, and they're slowly getting success, and they get to Hamburg, and they did earn a bit more money, and then they came back, and then the whole thing started out. And even in the beginning, the contract they had, they earned just money when playing live in clubs and concerts and stuff like that, because they, even though their first singles did sell well, they didn't earn much. After seeing, we're successful, now it would be actually nice to change the contracts so we do get more money. And the same happened. I did read an interview from Bill Wyman, the bassist of the Rolling Stones. There was a talk, why did he suddenly decided to quit the Rolling Stones? Because he was in a very difficult situation. He didn't earn much money. He did earn money when they're touring. And suddenly the touring, the distances, the time amount between the touring getting bigger, so he didn't earn much money. And he was broke. The bassist of the Rolling Stones. He was broke. And he said, I can't continue like that. And even Charlie Watts said, I do get you. Because most royalties from the Rolling Stones, who touched the royalties? That was Jagger and Richards, not the other guys. The other guys, here you get a percentage, and that's it. That's the life of an artist. And even with the Beatles, most songs were written by Lennon-McCartney. Some very small amount of songs were written by the other two. They didn't earn much, huge amount. Later, the contracts were changed and royalties came in. But yeah, it sucks to be exploited like that. And sometimes you get artists who say, nah, I'm done with that. Or other pressures, like when Talk decided they never really wanted, they wanted to be an art pop band, and suddenly they had success, but they couldn't actually, mostly the singer couldn't cope with the success, and they said, let's stop it. We're done with the industry. And apparently they were screwed over and stuff like that. So, and then the singer decided, I'm done with it. I won't be making any music. I got my wife and kids. I'll lay low and do my life, and that's it. And so many artists. And then you still get people choosing the life of an artist, even though maybe knowing, maybe not. There are some who just do it for fun, and if there's a bit of money coming in, that's okay, that's good. Or being monetized on YouTube, and suddenly, the channel is growing. I got thousands of subscribers, and I got a bit of money coming in. Oh, that's good. That's an extra. But choosing, I want to be a successful musician. That's a hard life choice. A very hard life choice to be a successful, very successful musician. I got the chance. I can make music for fun. I'm not interested in making any money out of it. I could make sample packs or beats or whatever, or trying to get as much subscribers as possible to monetize my channel, but I'm not interested in that because I get no satisfaction by it. I'm satisfied enough that you people watching me doing my blah blah here and not much music. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that track because I don't like it. So now I want to try how this modulation actually works. If I do it very... Oh, now it's working with the scale. Haha! If you do it bipolar, well, not so much. It's just unipolar. Until you become famous. Yeah, and Andy knows it. You start out streaming. Hey, Davey's already getting YouTube famous. Not yet. But even being famous on social media, it's all like Projector said, and many YouTubers will know, it's all an up and down. So you can't really rely, oh, now I'm gonna publish that video, or I'm streaming tomorrow and then there's like 500 people watching. You don't know that. So it's risky. I am far from famous. Yeah, but even like Martin Stürzer, you could say he's kind of starting out really being famous. Like when he streams, he got a few hundred people watching. But does he make money out of it? 50 years ago, could be also be famous as an experimental musician. Yeah, Klaus Schulze. But I do wonder, he might have made money out of his publications, but artists like Tangerine Dream, Klaus Schulze, and all those krautrock bands, you can't really say that they were known in some scenes, but they're not. They're famous now, but in the 70s, I heard about Klaus Schulze pretty late, because you didn't see that on TV. I didn't heard about Tangerine Dream until very late, when I get into more deeply into electronic music. I knew about Kraftwerk. Everybody knows Kraftwerk because they were played on radio. Kraftwerk were mostly an electronic pop band. They were played. They had successes like The Model and all that stuff. They were, but in their beginnings, they were a very experimental band. Like many, it's not music, and there's so many. I'm a big fan of the Young Gods from Switzerland. They had in the 90s. They were slowly getting more, I wouldn't say success, but they did play festivals and stuff like that in the indie scene. But it wasn't. The funny thing is, they made kind of music like, compared to Nine Inch Nails or Ministry, with sampled guitars and synthesizers and stuff like that. But they didn't have the success of later artists like Nine Inch Nails and Rammstein and stuff like that. They're still a very underground small band till today. So Kraftwerk are famous in Luxembourg. Yes, Funky Bassman. They even played here twice. Imagine that. I'm not sure if they actually played in the 70s here or the. I'm quite sure they didn't play in the 80s here, but about the 70s, I'm not sure. But that's like one of my favorite prog rock bands from the 70s and 80s. The German band Eloy. They had some kind of success, but they were never really big. Why? It's hard to know, because maybe the singer had the same terrible accent as Klaus Meine. They did sing in English, funny enough, but they were a German band. They were on a big label like EMI Harvest, but they never really got the breakthrough, could say. They were still kind of underground, mouth-to-mouth kind of band. Oh, did you hear about that band? Oh, did you hear that record? But successful in small amounts. Kraftwerk had created a new style. Yes, Kraftwerk were their own innovation. That maybe, and even Jean-Michel Jarre in the electronic stuff, he started out as an experimental musique concrète kind of artist, tweaking his machines in a studio until he released Oxygen. And suddenly, I prefer very early craft. Yeah, but they didn't publish a huge amount of work. The most famous records were in the 70s, and then we got Computer World in the early 80s, and then it took a long time to actually, they did release, now we will make Electric Cafe, and then that was it. Then released the Tour de France, who was quite a recording of some old stuff and unreleased tracks, but just the first two albums. Yeah, that's very bands like Neu and Can and even others like Amandule, or what was the other called? There was another one, another crazy one. They're mostly very expensive, Ensgrave, very experimental, free spirits stuff. Popol Vuh, yeah, Popol Vuh. All these kind of crazy German bands. These days, these bands have cult status, kind of thing. Like Can influenced so many others, and that's the thing with influencing. I clearly remember, because I actually talked with the singer of a band called Sabbath. It was a thrash metal band from UK. They released 2 albums, and they had a kind of mixture of thrash metal and folk influences, but they never really had a breakthrough. They were kind of a bit of known, and then they stopped doing stuff. They broke up. Why, I don't know. And the singer started a new band called Skyclad. They were kind of successful, but still kind of underground. But they influenced all these metal bands coming out of the 90s and 2000s, the pagan metal and stuff like that. They stayed underground, and eventually they even threw out the singer who was the founder, and they still continued for some time and then broke up, and they never had the big breakthrough, but the others did. It's like quoting Bathory, the black metal thing that influenced so many other bands, but Bathory weren't very successful either. They didn't play live because it was a one-man project, and yeah, they influenced like so many others. And Cluster, yeah, I do have some Cluster CDs still here. But some artists get these days, when you talk, when someone actually making a track, they say, oh, it's Berlin School. They influenced like Schulze, Tangerine Dream and all that 70s, 80s stuff, and many others, more unknown artists who made the same stuff. And even you can't say known artists, because they're only known in a certain scene, like Steve Roach or Robert Rich or the Italian guy Alio Dai, who is making ambient for like 30 years, who have, I don't know, hundreds of releases, or projects like Vidna or Mana. That's very underground. Berlin School wasn't a thing 30 years. Yeah. It was elektronische Musik. It wasn't really a Berlin Schools thing. So, yeah. And that's the same with movies and paintings. When I think when Picasso started out doing his crazy things, I think first people seeing it, what the heck is that? What did you paint there? What does it what does it represent? It's after slowly. There has always been a rule in Berlin. There is none. Yeah, actually, that's why Berlin was always without the fall of the Eastern Wall back in '89. There wouldn't actually be a big techno scene in Berlin, because the first clubs were mostly illegal stuff, and then the Tresor happened. Wabbit! And with the Tresor, the whole thing really started out. Berlin was techno mecca, and the whole thing, like the scenes in Frankfurt and elsewhere, these techno scenes came years later after Berlin, because when Berlin was starting out being a techno city, suddenly they made let's do a club tour. I was stationed there in my younger days. I bought my first bass amp there. Yeah, that's but that's the same thing like with acid here. When it started out, the machine came out in the early 80s, was it? And was a total flop for Roland. And then suddenly someone in Chicago picked it up and made a track out of it, and they called it Acid House. That was in 86, 87. It wasn't a big success at first. It was very an underground club thing in Chicago, and then later Detroit with techno. And then it swapped over to the UK. And then you had the 88, 89, Summer of Love, but the machines they used were all secondhand. There wasn't any 303 available anymore, so if you could grab one, and suddenly the prices go up because, I got an original 303. Acid! I clearly remember the day I was going to a record shop not far from my hometown in Belgium, and there was a 12-inch. I can't remember what artist it was, but it had a big smiley on it. And I said, that looks interesting. Well, what is that? And I listened to it. Oh, that's an interesting sound. And it was some kind of acid house track. Can't remember from whom. But then it was, oh, that's a really cool new sound. I didn't know about the 303. I just heard, wow, that sounds amazing. Oh, yeah. That's how acid thing sounds. We could actually make it a bit more interesting. Just me talking here. And I want to try out something. Let's load my funny enough, I did watch the video and I even commented on it from John at the Reaper blog. He presented a new script and I actually did install it, but I had made some mistake. It didn't work. And it's a script like the sequencer of FL Studio. And I tested it out yesterday, and it's actually pretty damn good. So, because you can load samples in it, either through Loop Cloud or just my Media Explorer, I'm just gonna load it. Shown on here. It should work. It actually works together with the Reassemblomatic. It looks like nothing's happening, but Ansgrave sold a 303 for 50. Imagine that. And I know, like Rob Acid, also known as Robert Babich, he has multiple 303s, and even I think he has clones. I'm not sure about it, but he still has his first 303 that he bought as a teenager when he started out making music, and he's still using it. I still have the original CD of Sheet 1 by Plastic Man. Oh yeah, that one with the perforated blotter insert. I still have the CD, and I still have 112-inch that I found somewhere in a record store. That sound, and when you listen to it, and on a very good hi-fi system, then you hear he included a sub bass that is mind-blowing, and you really have to have a good system to feel it. In some tracks, it's you think it's a bit subtle, but when you turn it up, you got a sub bass in there that probably works awesomely well in a club, but that stuff was mind-blowing back then in the 90s. These days you got people just imitating that kind of stuff, but what he did, like Richie Horton and many other people from Detroit and Chicago. I even have, funny enough, there was a house scene in California, mostly in San Francisco, and I have a compilation CD from an obscure underground house label in San Francisco, and even today the tracks sound pretty fresh. But the scene was very, very, very underground. And even Miami had a scene, but it took a while to get known. There was a time when even the Americans started to see, oh, there's like rave scene, techno, and house. But it had to, like, I think it was Richie Hawtin actually making a speak about it, because they started out in Detroit, and then most of these producers played in clubs, mostly in Berlin, and then they played UK, and then the UK made it big, but in the US they were very small. Nobody knew about them. So these guys were actually happy to play in Berlin, UK, London, Frankfurt, and wherever. And then suddenly, like 20, 30 years later, most of 20 years, when the EDM scene suddenly exploded in the US, these artists were on the road 20 years before. Sorry guys, we actually did make that music 20 years ago. You didn't notice us. Yeah, the 90s in the States, yeah, late 90s. But that's with most stuff, like many music, like even the grunge scene took a while to take over, and then maybe other stuff. Even when you look at heavy metal, when you hear the stories from bands like Black Sabbath, was kind of already big in the 70s, mostly in the States. But bands like Judas Priest, they struggled a long time until suddenly the whole new wave of British heavy metal. And they suddenly remember, oh, wait, there were bands before us, like Judas Priest, Motorhead, and many others. Oh, they make the same stuff. Oh, yeah. Crazy things. So, how this thing works, let's just a nice kick like this one, and then I'll load it here, and we got ourselves a kick. Duck, duck, and actually puts down MIDI notes, and it should actually work like let's make a 32 like that. Should work actually. Now let's make it longer. Way longer. So the only downside is you think, oh, it's 64, and that's the maximum. Actually quite interesting. apparently Black Sabbath kicked off the whole grunge thing without even knowing it. Yeah, maybe. Gosh, how was it, Ozzy? Yeah, Ozzy. Ozzy was actually his solo career was mostly in the U.S. at first. Black Sabbath and Ozzy were hugely big in the U.S., but much smaller here in Europe. They now have cult status, but in the States they filled stadiums, and here small venues. Until I did see Black Sabbath without Ozzy. In my local town, when that was the tour of the Seventh Cross with the new singer. And I said, wow, Black Sabbath is coming here. Imagine that. In my hometown. That was like still in the 80s. I think it was the 80s or early 90s. We'll check. But there weren't a big thing here anymore. It was like, yeah, Hawkwind, yeah, where they had a bass player called Lemmy Kilmister. I get to see Ozzy twice. I did see Ozzy on, there was the days when they had these huge metal festivals in the 80s, the Monsters of Rock. And he played, I think it was my first or second Monsters of Rock festival. And he played like still in the afternoon, but Mother. But Black Sabbath I only seen once, but not with neither Dio or Ozzy. I only did see it with the new singer. But funny enough, I always said, now we got a venue for these kind of bands, but now they're not coming anymore. But we had Dream Theater last night here. I did see some technicians wandering around, because funny enough, my office, the reception, is just like 50 meters besides on the left side of the concert venue. We do see the buses and the trucks coming in and out. Sometimes you can see a glimpse of an artist on occasion. Sometimes they get out and buy some food or stuff. And I did see once, it was a few months ago, there was some kind of hip-hop act playing here. And I think the main guy from the band who was getting with his crew something to eat, and suddenly there were kind of a little cloud of people, and I said, I think someone recognized them. Oh, it was recognized by someone, because suddenly there were a bunch of people around him. Mostly it doesn't happen. Mostly they stay. But I do get to see the trucks sometimes even early in the morning when they come to build the stuff. They're in the same entrance as my office, and they use the same underground parking where our people actually park their office cars and stuff like that. But I sadly never get to get an autograph. Seen Miss Sugar a few times. Can't remember who my Sugar is. I would have liked to see like Mike Portnoy and get a an autograph. But I'm actually never. I did have some back in the days as a teenager. I had an envelope where I did write to. Back then there was no internet, so I wrote letters to bands and fan clubs to get the traditional. Not sure if they're still doing these kind of things. You got the big photographs where the bands, the members signed on them, and you could get them for a few bucks at the fan club. I had an envelope full. I had all kinds of. I had Sabbath. I had Voivod. I had Iron Maiden and all kinds of autograph stuff, and I lost it. I never found it again. Well, I lost it when we were moving from one place to another, and suddenly it was gone out of my mind. And I just. One day I decided I need to find that envelope, and I couldn't find it again. It lost in the. I saw Dave Matthews. I couldn't get his autograph. Ooh, Dave Matthews. I did see Herbie Hancock. That was quite wow. But he was actually. When I did see that was like 3 years ago, he's an old dude, but he's still doing it. And funny enough, because my mom has some kind of subscription for the Philharmonic venue here in Luxembourg, and she gets tickets. And suddenly she wrote to me, oh, there's a guy called Herbie Hancock playing here. Would you like to go to see him? What? Herbie playing here? I'm not a fan of jazz. I don't listen to much jazz stuff, but Herbie is cool. Herbie is, and that was my only jazz concert in my life, and I enjoyed it. But Herbie that was damn cool. Really, really cool stuff. Really, really cool stuff. I was lucky. He's still touring. He's still, even in the 90s, I think. Contest. Metallica I've seen once, but I've seen stuff. You could say, oh, did you actually did see Scorpions a few times? And many bands I did see. Imagine that. I think it was my first or second. There was an independent festival in Belgium, the Puckle Pop, and back then it was already quite big, and they had quite an interesting lineup most of the times. And I did see Rage Against the Machine. They were on their first album. I did see, when you imagine that these days, you did see who? Yeah, Rage Against the Machine. And I did see The Prodigy and Chemical Brothers, Iggy Pop, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and when they're not famous... But yeah, free jazz, strat jazz, those subgenres. Yeah, I'm not. I do like more the funky jazz. Like I did like stuff from who died some time ago, Chick Corea. Chick Corea was still when he had his. Chick Corea was a bit like Herbie. He had his periods. Like Chicoria had where they made when they made fusion in the late 70s. That was quite cool. There was Miles Davis doing it, there was Herbie doing it, Chicoria doing it, and a bit like Mahavishnu Orchestra and stuff like that. Very incorporating other stuff. That was quite cool, but there are some... My mom, suddenly she writes me a message, oh, there's a saxophone jazz man playing at the Philharmonic. Do you know him? I said, never heard of him. And I looked him up on the internet, and it was, oh my goodness, what the heck? It was awful. It was a guy pretty old guy, apparently very known name in the jazz scene, but I wrote back to my mom, no thanks, I wouldn't dare watch this for 90 minutes or 2 hours. Him doodling for, I don't know, jamming on his saxophone was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Let's do a little break. Soul Rage on the Zombie Pantera tour. I think never seen System of a Down though. That would be, yeah, could have been 7 or so. Memory is hazy from that. What a big show. The big shows were mostly happening in my era, mostly in Germany and Belgium. I didn't go much to France though, because France, actually, the only concert I actually seen in France was The Cure. I mostly did go to either Belgium or Germany, and a few times I did go to the Netherlands once, I think. But France has the problem. The most concerts, at least the big names, the known bands, play in Paris. And that's about 350 kilometers from my place. But it's not easy to get to. But there is still a venue around 100 miles from here. Amnéville in Metz. Sometimes they got a few interesting bands, but the problem is, even back then and today, they don't really promote these kind of concerts here in our region. And funny enough, now that we got a venue here, when bands play here, we got all kinds, we got metal, hip-hop, pop, all kinds of stuff. We got to see the French coming over, because in our region here, in the French region, there isn't really much happening. You really have to go to Paris to see a band, and that's kind of... France is a bit... Belgium is more active. Belgium, you got even the small towns like Namur has venues. There's one small venue where a lot of prog bands play. Like that's 150 kilometers from here. And then you got Brussels, and then you got Antwerpen, and then you got Ghent. It's very active for concerts and stuff. Germany, you don't have to drive very far to find a concert venue in Germany. Even like 1 hour drive, you got 2 places, 2 towns where everything's happening. So Germany is crazy. Let's take a short break. I'm talking too much. I need something to drink. Be right back. Phoenix was still great for live events. Yeah, America is the US is a different kind of monster. Even places like New York and stuff like that. Like I didn't know about it. I did see the story about Twisted Sister, who were kind of live band for over 10 years in New York without ever releasing any record. And they were big in New York and not much else. And then suddenly they released a record like 15 years after starting out, and then they became big. That's crazy stuff. I need to find out. So it says pattern 64, pattern length. But if I do just 4, it's too small. Why is it so small? Like here, oops. Let's close it. I don't get it. It's very, very odd. And if I do 64, now you get this. So that isn't still okay. No, even I can't make it longer. And if you duplicate it, is that working? Oops. Well, how does it look? So that actually would work. So must find a tip around this thing here. So that works. That works. So Acid V. So now I got to see the, I can change the amount here. Okay. Well, I've not yet tested this thing here. Pitch tracking. Cutoff range. So that is this. Do something else. Like this. That's more interesting. So it is pretty basic, actually. So, it's club sound. Club sound. So now we tested two, not really plugins, but at least the script is working, kind of. You could actually, if I do this, how does it look in here? Ah, haha, found something out. Haha. If I, like here, if I do this, like that, I get a 64, and if I loop it, now I can actually change it to, no, it got back. Let's see, let's get rid of that, and I want to change. Now it's not looping anymore. Now it's not working anymore. Now it is. Can I make it even longer? I can. Haha. So that is working. Haha. But it doesn't play it. Yeah. It's nice script, but, yeah. But, yeah. It's not perfect. Could be better. Could be better. New pattern, okay. Pattern. Yeah, it's a bit quirky. I copy the MIDI out. Yeah. It's, the idea is nice, but I do have my own methods. It's good to test some scripts, but sometimes it is quirky. Yeah, it is actually. Could be better. Could be like here, like I said, instead of, because 64 is the maximum, and when you do copy it, it doesn't really work. So, and even the UI, I could make it here. I can make it bigger, but even then, it's still 64 maximum. Because, like I do have the others. I do have the I think it's in here. Like this one, the sower. It's still better, even though it's kind of the same idea, and it hasn't been really much updated. That's just apparently isn't supported anymore. So apparently it's looks like Russian. Yeah, another kind of It's always nice. Yeah, it's always nice. Yeah, but like many of these third-party scripts, sometimes people making scripts, like there was one, I still have it installed. Let me check it. I think it's this one. The pie menu. Or there was another one, quite similar, but hasn't been really upgraded, stuff like that, because even there was one actually who did make for version 5 and 6 made quite amazing themes, and he announced that he was working on a new one, and he posted even many images on the forum, but suddenly it has been months, total silence. So you don't, will something come out? And that's a bit of the downside of Reaper. You get lots of people doing crazy scripts, and there are still some very active, but many, they do a script and then suddenly it gets totally forgotten or not updated, or someone taking over or something like that. And that's a bit the downside of Reaper. If you got other DAWs, when they have included instruments and effects, it's kind of supported in the DAW and still updated to some degree. But with Reaper, sometimes you're still better off trying to find third-party plugins to do your stuff, or do it manually or whatever, because you can't really rely on certain scripts. And sometimes, like the Helgo Boss thing, the playtime, it's still on beta, and it's still getting quite recent updates, but it's a paid script, like the NVK tools. They're quite expensive too, and these actually still get supported, but many scripts just disappear in the ether. So yeah, I could actually save the preset as a second version. Oops. Like this. Save it. Not that I'm actually doing a lot of acid, but I might do something on Sunday. DL! It's coming a bit late. DL is a fan here. Well, I actually do like how the maybe the gate a bit more. Let me just, one last thing I want to test. If I can, let me check my envelope manager. On the last touched, I want to see if I can actually modulate the generation here. Oh, that actually can be modulated. Let's see. You could actually, I'm gonna put it like here and do like kind of like this, and if I even add one here and one here, oops, like that, how does it react if I touched? Just to check it over here. So the generate is on 0. If I do this, what does he do when he touches the automation? If I do like that, same here. It could do small kind of push to got my fan club here. So I'm still if I just not gonna show you it's working. Maybe if the thing is not engaged, if you do very, I did see that on someone's channel. I think it was actually Adam Wall, who is a Reaper user, and recently had a respond video on the slapback plugin from Cable Guys. It was quite fun to watch that, because he made a video about it, and then Andrea Chrome, I think his name was, he made a video, and he was a bit ranting. There was some stuff also about latency and stuff like that, and Dan Wowell was making a response and actually mentioning him, and he said you could actually, if you got latency problems, you could actually use Reaper. That was quite right, there you go. Because there are some who might actually handle latency good, but I think Reaper still is, when it comes to third-party plugins, in most cases it's better than others. It has some other downside that sometimes you get plugins that do not really work well. Well, that's a graphic thing, I think. Or is it a code thing that something is not working together well? I don't know. But for the most part, it handles stuff pretty good. So, yeah. I'm going to, call it We did experiment. We made it, actually, I made a preset in Acid V. Woo! How good is that? So, we got a... So, Cloud Faces says Gaz... I'm not sure if actually Gaz Williams. The name sounds familiar. Let's just check something on my... Gaz Williams. Gaz Williams. Aha. I'm not subscribed to his channel. Channel about salt crates. There's quite a few videos. Just do live things. I'd subscribe because symptoms of reality will scream. But I have to watch the new video from Sounds Human too, so I have to do other things too. Polyan Synth, yeah, the new Polyan Synth. Some say it's a bit, but yeah, I could actually just, oops. Let me check his, could actually post a link if you're interested. But what? Moo. Moo. M-E-H. Moo. Other night Ben Jordan will be going live with it. With the, also with the Polyant. I'm not surprised. Suddenly all the influencers are having a new toy. Now it's the Polyand. I know Luke still didn't make a video about the new Ableton thing yet. He promised one, but let's see. Yeah, gonna take a short break. Gonna watch a few things and do things, and then might be seeing us in some live stream, probably systems. I'm still... Why am I struggling with that? Symptoms of reality. Cornish Waves. He's coming when we're stopping. How you doing? So, yeah, thanks for joining. Sorry about that. I want to take a short break. And I will be in the ether quite soon again. So, thanks for joining. Sunday, I did plan it a bit earlier. That might be a bit longer one. So, as we plan to do something new, it's called, let's do some breaking the door. I thought it was a good name for a stream. Let's do some breaking the door. Glad I just sing it, just don't get a copyright here. My goodness. See you on the ether, on streams and stuff, and yeah. Yeah, thanks for joining, Andy. I will see you on Saturday, at least. Or the next one. Next crazy stream in the YouTube world. So, cheers and good day, good night, good evening. Bonsoir.
Your Honor, I rest my case.